Jeff Burton, from Virginia short tracks to NASCAR stardom. In NASCAR, some drivers are remembered for championships, others are remembered for raw speed, but Jeff Burton is remembered for something just as important: consistency, professionalism, and longevity. From small Virginia short tracks to victory lane on NASCAR's biggest stages, this is the story of Jeff Burton. Jeffrey Tyler Burton was born on June 29, 1967, in South Boston, Virginia, a town deeply rooted in racing culture. His father, John Burton, was a former short track racer and car owner, which meant Jeff grew up surrounded by race cars and competition. Jeff began racing at a young age, quickly making a name for himself on the short tracks of Virginia and North Carolina. By the late 1980s, his smooth driving style and racecraft caught the attention of NASCAR team owners, making his NASCAR Busch Series debut in 1988 in Martinsville in the spring, behind the wheel of a family-owned number 64 Golden Skillet Oldsmobile. Burton's best start was 9th at his home track of South Boston Speedway in the spring. His best finish was 11th twice at Rougemont in South Boston in the summer. Overall, in 5 Busch Series starts, Burton scored 3 top 15s and 4 top 20s, becoming a full-time Busch Series driver in 1989 behind the wheel of a family-owned number 12 Pontiac, making 27 starts throughout the season, spending all but 1 week inside the top 20 in points. Burton's best start was 4th at Rougemont in the late summer, and his best finish was 3rd at Martinsville in the fall. Overall, in 27 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s, finishing 13th in final Busch Series point standings. As the sport entered into a brand new decade, the 1990s, in 1990, Jeff Burton was behind the wheel of that number 12 Armour Meats Buick, owned by Sam Ard, spending the season between 9th and 19th in point standings. Burton's best start was 1st at Rougemont in the early summer. His best finish was 1st at Martinsville in the fall. The pole and victory were both firsts for Jeff Burton. Overall, in 31 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s, finishing 15th in final Busch Series point standings. At the conclusion of the season, Burton parted ways with Sam Ard's race team. In fact, the two ended up in court over who was responsible for financial losses throughout the 1990 season, joining John Jackson's J&J Racing for the 1991 season, behind the wheel of his number 99 Armour Meats Chevrolet full-time. Darrell Bryant served as Burton's crew chief for the 1991 Busch Series season, starting the season in the 20s in points, working his way up to the top half of the teens by race 9, not dropping lower than 14th for the remainder of the season. Burton's best start was 1st twice at Rockingham and Bristol in the spring. His best finish was 1st at South Boston in the spring. Overall, in 31 starts, Burton scored 2 poles, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 12th in final Busch Series point standings. At the conclusion of the 1991 season, Burton and J&J Racing parted ways. Phil Martasi hired Jeff Burton to drive his number 8 TIC Financial Systems Oldsmobile full-time. Gil Martin served as Burton's crew chief starting in 1992, slowly working his way up from 20th to the top 15 in points by the halfway point of the season. Then the second half of the season, Burton worked his way up from 15th into the top 10 in points by season's end. Burton's best start was 3rd at Rougemont in the early summer. His best finish was 1st at Loudon in the summer. Overall, in 31 starts, Burton scored 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 9th in final Busch Series point standings. Reprising his role as driver of Phil Martasi's number 8 Baby Ruth Buick full-time in 1993, spending 14 of the first 18 weeks of the season inside the top 10, before slowly falling to 14th by season's end in point standings. Burton's best start was 2nd twice at Daytona in the spring and Milwaukee in the early summer. His best finish was 1st at Myrtle Beach in the early summer. Overall, in 28 starts, Burton scored 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 14th in final Busch Series point standings, also making his NASCAR Cup Series debut at Loudon in the summer, behind the wheel of Phil Martasi's number 0 TIC Financial Ford, starting 6th and finishing 37th after a lap 86 accident ended his race early, making the jump up to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 1994, behind the wheel of a number 8 Ray Bestis Brakes Ford, owned by the Stavola Brothers. Ken Wilson began the 94 season as Burton's crew chief, but he was replaced by Buddy Barnes starting at race 24 in Richmond, spending the vast majority of the season in the 20s in points. Burton's best start was 3rd at Martinsville in the fall, and his best finish was 4th twice in Atlanta in the spring and Pocono in the summer. Overall, in 30 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s, finishing 24th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Winning Rookie of the Year honors in the Cup Series in 1994. Once again, Jeff Burton returned to the Stavola Brothers number 8 Rebestis Brakes Ford full-time. Donnie Richardson served as Burton's crew chief for the 95 season. Starting the season in the top 30 in points, but by race 7 in North Wilkesboro, Burton fell below 30th and never got higher than 30th in points the rest of the season. Burton's best start was 10th at Bristol in the spring, and his best finish was 5th at Rockingham in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, Burton scored 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s, finishing 32nd in final Cup Series point standings. At the conclusion of the 95 season, Burton and the Stavola brothers parted ways. While the equipment wasn't top tier, Burton showed flashes of potential that the bigger teams couldn't ignore. The following season, in 1996, Jeff Burton joined Roush Racing. This changed everything. Behind the wheel of a number 99 Exide Batteries Ford full-time, Buddy Parrott served as Burton's crew chief starting in 96. Starting the season strong, in the top 5 in points, until Burton did not qualify for the spring Atlanta race. This due to the fact that the newly formed number 99 entry did not have any owner points to fall back on, therefore leaving he and the team without a provisional to make the field when he was slow in qualifying. Burton's best start was first at Michigan in the late summer, and his best finish was third at Richmond in the fall. Overall, in 30 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 6 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, finishing 13th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In the Craftsman Truck Series, Burton made the first and only 4 starts he would make throughout his entire career. Behind the wheel of a number 99 Exide Batteries Ford for Roush Racing. His best start was 16th and his best finish was 4th, both coming at Nazareth in the summer. Overall, in 4 Craftsman Truck Series starts, Burton scored 1 top 5 and 3 top 10s, returning to the Busch Series as well, making a one-off start at Charlotte in the spring, behind the wheel of a number 05 Ford for Curtis Key, starting 7th and finishing 42nd, following a rear-end issue on lap 31. The 1997 season would see Jeff Burton run that number 99 again full-time for Roush Racing in the Cup Series, spending the first 11 weeks of the season between 4th and 12th in points, then 4th or 5th from race 12 in Dover through the rest of the season. Burton's best start was 4th at Talladega in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times, at Texas in the spring, Loudon in the summer, and Martinsville in the fall. The victory at Texas was his first career Cup Series victory. Overall, in 32 Cup Series starts, Burton scored 3 wins, 13 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Down in the Busch Series, Jeff Burton made 13 starts behind the wheel of a number 9 track gear Ford for Roush Racing. Tommy Morgan began a several-year run as Burton's Busch Series crew chief. Burton's best start was first at Rockingham in the fall. His best finish was first twice, at Bristol in the spring and Darlington in the late summer. Overall, in 13 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 26th in final Busch Series point standings. Frank Stoddard took over as the number 99 team's new crew chief in 1998. Jeff Burton returned to that number 99 Exide Batteries Ford full-time for Roush Racing. After an engine failure in the Daytona 500, Burton spent the first part of the season working his way into the top 10 in points, and by season's end, the top 5 in points. Burton's best start was second twice at Darlington in the spring and Daytona in the fall. His best finish was first twice at Loudon in the summer and Richmond in the fall. Overall, in 33 starts, Burton scored 2 wins, 18 top 5s, and 23 top 10s, finishing 5th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. As for the Busch Series, Jeff Burton made 13 starts again behind the wheel of that number 9 track gear Ford for Roush Racing. Burton's best start was first twice, Darlington in the spring and Michigan in the late summer. His best finish was first 3 times, at Richmond in the early summer, Michigan in the late summer, and Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 13 starts, Burton scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 30th in final Busch Series point standings. Burton also ran his first IROC series in 1998. His best finish was first at Michigan in the early summer. Overall, in 4 starts, he scored 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 3 top 10s, finishing second in final IROC series point standings. Jeff Burton was becoming a NASCAR superstar, regularly winning races and finishing inside the top 5 in final point standings. Spending all but 2 weeks throughout the season inside the top 10, all but 9 weeks inside the top 5, and even led the Cup Series point standings for 6 weeks early in the 1999 season. Burton's best start was first at California in the spring. His best finish was first 6 times at both Darlington races, Las Vegas and Charlotte in the spring, Loudon in the summer, and Rockingham in the fall. Overall, in 34 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 6 wins, 18 top 5s, and 23 top 10s, finishing 5th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings, winning the No Bull $5 million bonus at Darlington on September 5th, 1999, after winning both races at Darlington that season. Also making 14 Busch Series starts behind the wheel of that number 9 track gear Ford. Burton's best start was first at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was first at Rockingham in the spring. Overall, in 14 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, finishing 25th in final Busch Series point standings. In the IROC Series, he ran the full 4-race series. His best finish was 6th at Michigan in the early summer. Overall, in 4 starts, Burton scored 2 top 10s, finishing 11th in final IROC Series point standings. Entering into a brand new century, the year 2000, Jeff Burton in that Roush Racing number 99 Exide Batteries Ford was riding a wave of momentum. After several years as the number 99 team's primary sponsor, Exide Batteries was replaced by Citgo SuperGuard, starting at race 28 in Martinsville. Burton's best start was first at Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first 4 times at Las Vegas in the spring, Daytona in the summer, then Loudon and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, in 34 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 4 wins, 15 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing 3rd in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In the victory at Loudon, Burton led all 300 laps. Back down in the Busch Series, Burton made 14 starts behind the wheel of Roush Racing's number 9 NorthernLight.com Ford. His best start was second 3 times at Darlington and California in the spring, then at Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first 4 times at Las Vegas and Charlotte in the spring, and Darlington and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, in 14 starts, Burton scored 4 wins, 11 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 29th in final Busch Series point standings. Running the IROC Series again in 2000, his best finish was 3rd at Daytona in the spring. Overall, in 4 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s, finishing 7th in final IROC Series point standings. No one knew it at the time, but the late 90s were the peak of Jeff Burton's NASCAR career, winning 3 races in 1997 and finishing 4th in points, winning 2 races in 1998 and finishing 5th in points, winning 6 races in 1999 and finishing 5th in points, then winning 4 races in 2000 and finishing 3rd in points. Burton became known for his dominance on intermediate tracks, earning the nickname the Mayor due to his calm leadership and respected presence in the garage. After the 2000 season, Burton's performance began to decline slightly as Roush Racing expanded into a 5-car operation. While still competitive, wins became harder to come by. Again, behind the wheel of Roush Racing's number 99 Citgo SuperGuard Ford, full-time, in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2001, spending the first half of the season working his way up from the 30s up to 15th in points, then the second half of the season working his way up to 10th in final point standings. Burton's best start was 3rd twice at Martinsville in the spring and Phoenix in the fall. His best finish was 1st twice at Charlotte in the spring and Phoenix in the fall. This would be his second Coca-Cola 600 that he'd win, winning his first in 1999, and he also won a Southern 500 in 1999. Overall, 36 starts, Burton scored 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 10th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. As far as the Busch Series, Burton returned to that number 9 Gain Ford for Roush Racing. His best start was 1st at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was 1st at Darlington in the fall. Overall, in 11 starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 33rd in final Busch Series point standings. The final season that Burton ran the IROC Series was in 2001. His best finish was 6th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 4 starts, Burton scored 4 top 10s, finishing 8th in final IROC Series point standings. Things continued to get less competitive for Burton in 2002, reprising his role as driver of that number 99 Citgo Superguard Ford. Stoddard began the season as Burton's crew chief, but starting at race 26 in Richmond, Paul Andrews took over the position. Spending the first half of the season between 3rd and 16th in points, and the second half of the season between 12th and 14th. Burton's best start was 3rd at Sonoma in the summer, and his best finish was 3rd 3 times, at Richmond in the spring, Dover in the early summer, then Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 5 top 5s and 14 top 10s, finishing 12th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Then in the Busch Series, Jeff Burton made 13 starts behind the wheel of that number 9 Gain Febreze Swiffer Ford for Roush Racing. Brad Parrott became that number 9 team's new crew chief starting in 2002. Burton's best start was first twice, at Las Vegas and Darlington in the spring. His best finish was first 5 times, both Darlington races, Las Vegas in the spring, then Kansas and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, in 13 starts, Burton scored 2 poles, 5 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 31st in final Busch Series point standings. For the 2003 season, Burton made 36 NASCAR Cup Series starts behind the wheel of that number 99 Citgo Ford for Roush Racing. After getting the season off to a decent start, Burton fell back to 20th in points by race 5, then he slowly worked his way back up to 12th in points by season's end. Burton's best start was 7th twice, at Las Vegas in the spring and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was 2nd at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 3 top 5s and 11 top 10s, finishing 12th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Back down in the Busch Series, he only made 4 starts, 3 behind the wheel of Roush Racing's number 9 Ford, and 1 behind the wheel of a number 17 Ford owned by John Reiser. Burton's best start was 12th at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was 16th at Loudon in the summer. Going into the 2004 season, Jeff Burton had been in a several-season regression. This season was no different, making the first 22 starts of the season behind the wheel of that number 99 Ford for Roush Racing. At the end of the 2003 season, that number 99 team lost Citgo as the primary sponsor. This left the team without full-time sponsorship. Andrews began the season as crew chief for Burton, but by race 5 in Darlington, Bob Osborne took over atop the pit box of that number 99 Ford. Burton's best start in that number 99 was 6th at Chicagoland in the summer. His best finish in that number 99 was 4th at Dover in the early summer. Following race 22 in Watkins Glen, Burton and Roush Racing parted ways, a major turning point in Burton's career. The following week in Michigan, Burton replaced Dave Blaney behind the wheel of Richard Childress Racing's number 30 America Online Chevrolet, making the final 14 starts of the 2004 season. Kevin Hamlin started serving as Burton's crew chief when he switched over to Richard Childress Racing. Burton's best start was 5th at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was 4th at Bristol in the late summer. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s, finishing 18th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Down in the Busch Series, he made 4 starts, behind the wheel of Roush Racing's number 9 Cotman Transmission Pennzoil Ford. Burton's best start was 17th twice, at Darlington in the spring and Chicagoland in the summer. His best finish was 2nd at Darlington in the spring. Overall, in 4 Busch Series starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. The following season, in 2005, Jeff Burton became the new full-time driver of Richard Childress Racing's number 31 Singular Wireless Chevrolet. Many questioned whether Burton was past his prime. He answered those doubts over the next several seasons, making the chase several seasons in a row after joining Richard Childress Racing. Spending the first half of the season working his way up from 28th to 17th in points by the halfway point of the season, and spending the second half of the season between 18th and 22nd points. Burton's best start was 6th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 2nd at Bristol in the late summer. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 3 top 5s and 6 top 10s, finishing 18th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. As far as the Busch Series, Burton made 5 starts, 4 behind the wheel of a number 21 Reese's Chevrolet, and 1 behind the wheel of number 29 Mayflower Transit Chevrolet, both owned by Richard Childress Racing. Burton's best start was 2nd, and his best finish was 2nd, both coming at Bristol in the spring. Overall, in 5 Busch Series starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. NASCAR changed the points format following the 2003 season, adding the chase at the end of the season. The final 10 races of the season had the top drivers grouped together, so they all had a shot at the series championship. Jeff Burton returned to that number 31 singular wireless Chevrolet full-time. Scott Miller became Burton's new crew chief starting in 2006. After a 32nd place finish in the Daytona 500, that number 31 team started deep in points, but by race 11, they rebounded into the top 10. Making the chase, Burton ended up even leading the Cup Series point standings for 4 weeks during the chase. Burton's best start was first 4 times at Daytona in the spring, Chicagoland in the summer, then Indianapolis and Michigan in the late summer. His best finish was first at Dover in the fall. The victory at Dover broke a 176-race winless streak for Burton. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 4 poles, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 7th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings, also making 16 Busch Series starts, 10 behind the wheel of Richard Childress Racing's number 29 Holiday Inn Chevrolet. His best start in that number 29 was first at Richmond in the fall. His best finish in that number 29 was first at Dover in the early summer. 5 starts behind the wheel of Richard Childress Racing's number 21 U.S. Coast Guard Chevrolet. His best start in the number 21 was 8th, and his best finish in the number 21 was first, both coming at Atlanta in the spring. Then a one-off start at Loudon in the summer, behind the wheel of Kevin Harvick's number 77 Dollar General Chevrolet, starting 5th and finishing 21st. Overall, 16 Busch Series starts, Burton scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 28th in final Busch Series point standings. Continuing to drive that Richard Childress Racing number 31 Chevrolet full-time in 2007. Singular Wireless was bought by AT&T in December of 2006, rebranding it as AT&T Mobility during the 2007 season, therefore switching the number 31 team sponsorship from Singular Wireless to AT&T Mobility starting at race 12 in Charlotte, spending the entire regular season between 2nd and 7th in points, easily making the chase again in 2007. Burton's best start was 2nd and his best finish was 1st, both coming at Texas in the spring. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing 8th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Back down in the Busch Series, Jeff Burton split the season with Scott Wimmer, driving that number 29 Holiday Inn Chevrolet. Making 19 starts, Burton's best start was 3rd, twice, California in the spring and Bristol in the late summer. His best finish was 1st 5 times, at Las Vegas and Atlanta in the spring, then California, Charlotte, and Homestead in the fall. Overall, 19 starts, Burton scored 5 wins, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 15th in final Busch Series driver point standings, and serving as a co-driver with Scott Wimmer on their way to winning the Owners' Championship for Richard Childress. Remaining behind the wheel of Richard Childress Racing's number 31 AT&T Mobility Chevrolet full-time in 2008, working his way into the top 5 in points by race 4 in Atlanta and staying there for the rest of the regular season, easily making the chase. Burton's best start was 2nd twice, at Michigan in the early summer and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was 1st twice, at Bristol in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. The victory at Charlotte ended up being Burton's 21st and final career Cup Series victory. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing 6th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. After such a strong Busch Series season in 2007 and 2008, Burton made another 13 starts behind the wheel of that number 29 Holiday Inn Chevrolet. Burton's best start was 1st twice, at California and Atlanta in the spring. His best finish was 2nd twice, at Texas in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, in 13 starts, Burton scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 4 top 5s, and 7 top 10s, finishing 32nd in final Nationwide Series point standings. Nationwide became the new series sponsor starting in 2008. For the 2009 NASCAR Cup Series season, Jeff Burton returned to that Richard Childress Racing number 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet full-time. Miller began the season as Burton's crew chief, but was replaced by Todd Barrier starting at race 33 in Talladega. After starting the season slow, he worked his way up from 28th to 9th in points in the first 9 races of the season. But by the end of the regular season, he had fallen back down to 18th, missing the chase. Burton's best start was 5th at Richmond in the spring. and his best finish was second twice at Phoenix and Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s, finishing 17th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The final 13 Nationwide Series starts that he would make in his career came in 2009, behind the wheel of Childress Racing's number 29 Holiday Inn Chevrolet. His best start was third, and his best finish was third, both coming at Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 13 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 10 top 10s, finishing 28th in final Nationwide Series point standings. As the sport entered into another brand new decade, the 2010s, in 2010, Jeff Burton remained the full-time driver of Richard Childress Racing's number 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet, spending all but 2 weeks of the regular season inside the top 10 in points, easily making the chase. 2010 ended up being the final time that Jeff Burton would qualify for the chase. Burton's best start was 5th twice, at Michigan in the summer and Talladega in the fall. His best finish was second twice at both Dover races. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 6 top 5s and 15 top 10s, finishing 12th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The 2011 NASCAR Cup Series season saw Jeff Burton reprise his role as driver of that number 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet full-time. Barrier began the season as Burton's crew chief, but by race 20 in Indianapolis, Luke Lambert took over the position from him. Burton's best start was 4th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 2nd at Talladega in the fall. He did win his Gatorade dual qualifying race, setting the starting grid for the 2011 Daytona 500. It may not have been a points race, but victory lane is victory lane, especially at this point in his career. Overall, 36 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s, finishing 20th of final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In 2012, Burton remained the driver of that number 31 BB&T Caterpillar Wheaties Chevrolet. Drew Blickensderfer took over as the number 31 team's new crew chief. Starting the season strong at Daytona with a 5th place finish, he quickly fell to the bottom half of the top 20 in points and stayed there the remainder of the season. Having strong runs on the super speedways, Burton's best start was 4th at Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was 2nd at Talladega in the fall. Overall, in 36 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s, finishing 19th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The 2013 NASCAR Cup Series season turned out to be Jeff Burton's final full-time season. Luke Lambert took back over as the number 31 team's crew chief in 2013, spending the first 4 races of the season working his way up from 28th into the top 20 in points, and remaining around the 20th position for the rest of the season. Burton's best start was 2nd at Talladega in the fall, and his best finish was 3rd at Loudon in the summer. Overall, 36 starts, Burton scored 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s, finishing 20th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings, retiring from full-time competition at the conclusion of the season, only making select NASCAR Cup Series starts in 2014, making 4th throughout the season, 2 behind the wheel of a number 66 Toyota owned by Michael Waltrip Racing. His best start in the number 66 was 19th, and his best finish in the number 66 was 17th, both coming at Las Vegas in the spring. The final 2 Cup Series starts of Jeff Burton's career came in a fill-in role for Tony Stewart, after Stewart was involved in a fatal sprint car accident, one in which took the life of Kevin Ward Jr. Burton's best start was 25th, and his best finish was 15th, both coming at Bristol in the late summer. Overall, in 4 Cup Series starts, Burton scored 1 top 15 and 3 top 20s. At the end of the season, Burton closed the book on a 21-year Cup Series career. In 2015, Jeff Burton became an NBC analyst. Then on January 9th, 2023, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Justin Marks purchased the Cars Tour. Also in 2023, Burton was named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers. Harrison Burton is Jeff's son. He's continued to keep the Burton Racing name alive to the current generation. Harrison was able to win the Coke 0400 at Daytona in the late summer of 2024. Both he and his cousin Jeb Burton race in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series full-time going into the 2026 season. Jeb is Jeff's brother Ward's son. Ward also found success in NASCAR, winning 5 times in the Cup Series, including the 2001 Southern 500 and the 2002 Daytona 500. Burton's legacy goes beyond statistics. He's respected as one of NASCAR's cleanest, smartest, and most professional drivers, admired by fans, competitors, and team owners alike. In 695 NASCAR Cup Series starts, Burton scored 6 poles, 21 wins, 134 top 5s, and 254 top 10s, with the best points finished third in 2000. In 306 Busch Series starts, Burton scored 11 poles, 27 wins, 90 top 5s, and 153 top 10s, with the best points finish of 9th in 1992. In 4 Craftsman Truck Series starts, Burton scored 1 top 5 and 3 top 10s. In 16 IROC Series starts, Burton scored 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 11 top 10s, with the best points finish at 2nd in 1998. Jeff Burton may have never lifted a championship trophy, but his impact on NASCAR is undeniable. A racer, a leader, and one of NASCAR's most respected drivers of his generation. This is the story of Jeff Burton.